What's up, everybody? We got another Friday stream, and today is going to be a little different because it's been kind of a slow news week. I don't think there's really much of anything aside from some new, what's the word I'm looking for? Some new tools and stuff we got added into the shop. We did get the Bamboo X1 and P1 nano-coated extruder gears with the replacement CNC milled arm. So if you guys are looking for an upgrade for your extruder for your Bamboo X1 and P1, we have those now. They're in stock. And then we also got the torque wrenches, the hex driver sets, and calipers in as well. And all the iWis stuff is in stock. I think we mentioned the iWis stuff last week, but we just added a ton of new tools to the lineup. Yeah, in terms of news, we have some updates from Polymaker. You were actually just talking about this before we went live. Their spool stock site or app.
Yeah, they just came out with a new, I believe it's iOS and Android app, so you can do filament management.
Interesting. So like you just scan the barcode and just like.
Yep.
Is this their own product?
It sounds Our products are now on spool stock ready. I don't know if it's.
Oh, so this is okay. So it's Pixel Bus LLC. It says. Including brands such as Polymaker, Protopasta, New Makers. Ugh. Those are the guys. New Makers are the guys in India that were lying about where their filament was made, which actually we still get comments on that video. I will not buy them just because I will not buy filament from companies that lie about where their shit's made. That's that's why I stopped buying from 3D Salutech. They advertised that they were made in the U.S. and they were not. They were made in China. They were lying to everybody. The FTC actually went after them. So,
hey Joe, hey,
but yeah,
Dean, liking. Just saying hi to everybody.
Oh, I caught me off guard there. So, but yeah, basically, I mean, if
you have a lot of filament and you're doing like a small print farm kind of thing,
I'm gonna install it on my. I'm gonna install it. So it's called spool stock. Let me see.
I was just turning on my phone to do that as well.
Here's the thing, though. The fact that I hate when there's shit that's only on your phone because you know what? When I'm working, like I think like a lot of people are.
I don't want to have.
I'm on my computer. I'm on my computer. Give me like an actual like full blown like app or even a web like this. Something like this could be a website. It's fine. I'm gonna make an account here and see. I'm going to enter this in my password manager here.
Yeah, because most of the time you're going to be working on your computer slicing files. It's like, oh, I need to update the stock on this. Or you just want filament.
Well, and then the other thing too is like, how handy is this going to be versus like just keeping a spreadsheet? Because I know like my brother Doug, he's very anal about his filament, and he keeps like a spreadsheet, like an Excel spreadsheet, like. With all this stuff. So I installed the app here. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna hit the little plus. Oh, add a print. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Add a filament. Okay, so they have a barcode scanner and a keyboard here. I'm gonna put a keyboard. I'm gonna see. Let's see. Select brand. Oh, they have a ton of stuff in here. 3D Salutech, Amazon Basics. Dash Filmic Reality. Yeah, here? Let me try scan it. Hang on. Add scan while using the app. Hang on. Okay, it pulled it up here.
Yep, that's correct.
So that's cool. Create a. You don't have any spools for this filament. What? Okay, that's weird. Oh, add a spool. Like, okay, I have a spool. The price, the purchase source. This is a new full spool. Add inventory location. I mean, I cannot see myself using this if it's only on my phone. I really can't.
It would be nice to have, because you don't want to have like BlueStacks installed, have all the spam from that on your computer.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to
just so you can manage it from your computer.
Here, so I got like a roll. I got a roll of our bronze here. Let's see, filament PLA, filament name color. Bronze, because I know I have one there. You can select a color.
I know some people do like most of their work from like their iPad or something.
So the thing is here, like, so you can add the UPC. So if there's a filament on there, you can actually add the UPC. We don't have barcodes on ours. We just have SKUs. So here's the thing. I feel like the target for this is somebody like who's running a little print farm. But I feel like those people are going to want it on like their computer.
as well.
So
I know
like
some
I can
people
tell you
just
right
use
now,
like
like
their iPad to manage most of their stuff because it's like walking around to the printers with the iPad. It's like checking their Bamboo Handy app or what have you.
yeah, like I'm like so it's like this has the feel of a like consumer like a home user app, but it's for people doing larger scale stuff. I I don't know what you mean. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's I'm trying to like I feel like it's an app with like business in mind, but it's only on the phone. Do you know what I mean? Like it's only on the phone. I'm probably not going to use it. Like maybe home users would like it. Like I don't know. It's kind of like it's an app that has the feel of a consumer app, but it's more for business users in mind. Does that make sense?
Florida, you can hang
Yeah,
out.
I'm already taking care of it. Did you take care of him?
Yep.
You beat me to it. I just see
I just saw
the
Patrick.
I just see the log just view deleted message. Yeah, it was probably just a bot or a moron. One of the two. Either way, it's not fun. But anyways, I mean, is this something? Are you going to sit there and enter in all your filaments and then remember to go back and tell which filaments you used?
Yeah, it's really specific use cases, it seems.
Yeah, I'm curious how many people in chat would actually use something like that. It's a cool idea, but like I would prefer if I'm gonna sit down and enter in all my filaments, I'm not gonna want to sit here on my phone. I'm gonna be on my laptop or my computer and just
where you have
punch it
like a
in.
purchase order or something pulled up on another monitor.
So it's basically like this is an app that's got features that like pro users would use, but it's only on the phone.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's kind of missing the mark there. I don't know. Am I being too critical? Let's see.
Like I have 100 plus spools.
Spoolman? I've never heard of Spoolman. Let's look up Spoolman. Sorry, I'm waiting for Jordan to bring me up a roll of TPU so I can start that print for the customer.
Yeah.
But my
like I have 100 plus spools and I don't really see myself using it. Like you can see most of my spools right here. I have another shelf over there with them. And I just look up and I have the labels.
Yeah, so like
I can see.
Yeah, so you see how I have all mine here? I can see at a glance what I have. All mine are kind of stacked like that, and then like downstairs, I've got some of those IKEA, like the shelving, the little rollers. I mean, like I just go by looking at what I have. I know, like over here, this is mostly all my ABSs and PET Gs. Over there is all my PLAs. I used to have
like rep rack or something like that, where it's all laid out and you can see everything.
So this is Spoolman. It's a self-hosted web service designed to efficiently manage your printer spools, monitor usage, access a centralized database, works with Octoprint, Encryptor/Moonraker, automatically updates spool weights as printing progresses, giving you real-time insights into filament usage. So
see, that's more useful.
Yeah, that's useful, but my whole thing too is like it just seems like more steps versus just tracking your inventory and when you get low reordering. Do you know what I mean? Like That's what we do. Like we track our inventory we have, and like we'll pull inventory out for our internal use, and we have it on a separate shelf. So when certain colors get low, we'll either pull it from inventory or we'll go ahead and reorder. But either way, as we get low on certain colors, we reorder them. Like we just track our inventory. That's about it. I don't know. I don't. I mean, maybe I'm just lazy. I feel like I don't want to have to go through and keep track of the spools in another program versus just looking at the just looking at the like stash on my shelf and being done with it.
Right.
So thank you, sir. He was just bringing me a roll of our
He's,
black
he's finally
TPU.
on stream.
I know he's on stream for 3 seconds. He just laughed.
Nope, bye.
It's okay. We'll wear him down and get him on the stream soon. So, because I wanted to talk to him because he like, how long has he been working for us now? Like 5 or 6 months now.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Like it was towards the beginning of the year.
Oh yes, it is.
And then he never had a printer before, and I gave him one, and he just hit the ground running. Now he has 2 of them. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna load up our
Tech Dad.
TPU.
That's what this Trident is. Our electric lime green and the carbon fiber ABS.
ABS, yeah. Tor uses like all of our carbon fiber ABS. I don't even know how many freaking spools he has of it. But yeah, I mean, I see like, let's see, Maxi. The only reason I use it as filament is my filament isn't in a convenient place. So every time I get new spools, I add it. Okay, my big thing is remembering to remove it. So, like when you use it, you're like, oh, I have all this. Like, yeah, I'm just looking through that Spoolman thing. So it's like there's a lot of open issues on it too. I'm wondering, how does this load?
Just a plugin in.
Oh, it's Docker. Okay, yeah, Docker's installed. I love Docker. We love Docker here at TH3D. A lot of the stuff you use, if you interact with our support, is in Docker. Our help desk is run in Docker. Our easy firmware site is run in Docker. I think that's about all the customer facing stuff, but we have internal stuff that runs in Docker too as well. So, but yeah. The other thing we had for news is which is just more of a like a general thing. But there was
a lot of people are affected. Yeah.
Yeah. So like this crowd, if you guys noticed, there were certain services down yesterday, but it even took down like airplanes.
It
like
took down airlines,
and American Airlines, Delta,
services.
yeah. So, yeah. So here, this is cool. A 12-hour time shows American Airlines, Delta, and United plane traffic after an IT outage forced them into a ground stop. Let's see.
Yeah, this was wild.
Oh, holy crap! Yeah,
that's big.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of flights just disappearing because they can't fly.
Most of my feeds are most of my feed was that.
And Microsoft outage is now being reported as the biggest IT outage in history. Their teams didn't go down though. We used
a lot of computers just blue screened.
There was an update. Yeah, Jordan was telling me about there was an update that got pushed out or something, and it like was blue screening kiosks and stuff and like screens and whatnot. Like it was also cloud stuff in an update. Yeah, and then like hopefully, so if my stream cuts out, we've been having just like all sorts of, oh, why is this in light mode? It's so bright. Like we've been having issues with our Comcast line, and luckily, like I have our Unify console that monitors everything. Like look at how freaking bad my Comcast line been over the last 24 hours.
I saw a post
here, look at
that said
this is
update that was pushed. was just all zeros. Like the code in it was just all set to 0. It was like, oh.
Did you see this? This has been my
Yeah.
Comcast the last 24 hours. So if you guys have had intermittent connectivity to our help desk software that's hosted in house, this is why. So hopefully it gets sorted out. But I mean, like, I don't know what our speed test is going to show right now. It's going to probably affect my stream. I mean, it seems like it's. Yeah, there we go. We should. Yep, we should. It's right around where we should be. So, bandwidth wise, it seems fine. We'll see. You can see it's kind of stabled out, or stabilized over the last couple hours, but like it was just up and down, up and down. Like you can see the freaking internet quality here. Like here, high latency detected, packet loss, like just multiple times here.
Definitely a huge hit for
computers. Look, okay, that's interesting. I'm wondering if this is at, look at those are got to be at intervals. Look at that's every like 12:15, 2:15, 4:15. That's exactly 2 hours apart. I wonder if there's any pattern here. So here's all the disconnects we've had over the last 24 hours. And they're short. Like it just goes down for a little bit. Look at it's going, there's a pattern. Look at that. 12:19 and then 12:20, then 1:19, 2:19, 3:19, 4:19, 5:19, 6:19, 8:19, 9:19, 10:19.
I think so, yeah, they were probably affected too by it.
Yeah, that's really weird. That's really weird. Yeah, we don't we use Azure. We have like the Active Directory cloud is the only thing we use in terms of integration, but we use Teams for all of our like phone systems. So if you ever called us, that's Teams. We use that for our internal stuff, and we have a SharePoint server that we keep files on. That's about what we use on the Microsoft ecosystem, but we don't have like cloud servers running out there. So, but yeah. So if things were down,
blue screen. Yeah, I bet.
What's that?
Vince said a lot of their computers at Caltrans had blue screens. Yeah, it was
okay. So like, was it a cloud outage and an update, or did the update cause the cloud outage?
Update caused the cloud outage. From what
I know. Okay, so Microsoft pushed an update out. That update then blue screen stuff, and then it started taking systems offline. That was the sequence of events.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And this is why
transportation had a lot of computers out.
Yeah. Well, it's California.
Hey.
Yeah, that's really wild. Like, and also it makes you think too. Like, think about all the stuff that like we rely on that could just be taken out by a cybersecurity threat. Like, printers starting prints on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Anycubic, Bamboo, and their oopsie.
Anycubic didn't start prints on their own. They were just sent a random file saying, "Hey, you guys have a major security flaw."
Mark said it wasn't a Microsoft update.
It was a cloud. Whatever.
Is it like
CrowdStrike?
So is that a thing? Is it a Microsoft product? Hang on.
It was only on Windows that was affected. So if you're on Linux or Mac, it wasn't affected.
Oh, okay. So CrowdStrike, they're okay, Cloud Impact. Okay, so endpoint protection. So like malware, antivirus, that kind of stuff. What did Microsoft have to do with it though? Or does Microsoft use
only on Windows?
Is it CrowdStrike or CrowdStrike?
CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike. Okay, hang on, because that's this. I'm just looking at the search things. Hang on. Is CrowdStrike a Microsoft product? I haven't heard of it until this outage happened. What is? It's a third party? Hang on. Or is that what they're calling the attack? Hang on. Brave search is letting me down here. What we know about the global tech meltdown. Head of cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. Okay, so their cybersecurity firm said on Monday a fix had been deployed after a defect was found in one of its software updates. So it was one of CrowdStrike's software updates. Outage was a widespread Friday morning, saw Microsoft Windows PCs impacted with blue screen of death, appearing after an update from a global cybersecurity firm. Wait. So this is where it's confusing me. So this article says CrowdStrike. Hang on. They're saying CrowdStrike here from the firm CrowdStrike and CrowdStrike here, but then you scroll down an article and it says CrowdStrike. So that was the correct company. I'm wondering if they're calling CrowdStrike the name of the incident. Because usually when there's big incidents, they'll give them a name, kind of like a hurricane.
Yeah. But it was wild to see so many things that went down. Yeah, just walking around seeing all the blue screen.
Yeah. Okay, so basically this CrowdStrike company pushed an update out that was pushed out to Windows computers because they're using that for endpoint protection, and that caused the PCs a blue screen. The weird thing is, why is CrowdStrike? I'm assuming that's the name of this incident, but they're saying here the head of cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike, unless this is a typo.
I think it's a typo.
That's what's confusing me. Yeah, so it is CrowdStrike. So that was correct. Brave Search was giving me the correct thing when I searched CrowdStrike. It is CrowdStrike, which is the software company. So basically, an endpoint protection, which endpoint protection just means like malware, policy enforcement, antivirus, that kind of stuff.
But it had kernel level access,
so right? Because it's an endpoint protection. It's basically deeply integrated with the OS. So, and basically when those computers went down, that took down a bunch of services. That's crazy. So it makes sense. They're probably running on certain servers, which is why servers went down too. I'm just trying to figure out where Microsoft fits into this. If it's this third-party company. I'm looking here.
Well, it's only Windows PCs.
Running the CrowdStrike software. So if you're not running the CrowdStrike software, it's fine.
Yeah, so most end users are fine, but like
interesting,
Caltrans, a lot of government services,
so they must be running Windows servers then and endpoints, that kind of stuff. So,
well, I told you when I was flying out to Rocky Mountain, they had the please activate Windows on a lot of their kiosks in the flight terminal.
Yeah. Hang on one second. Sorry, I'm replying to the guy who just picked up his printer. Just informing him on slicer setting changes just to make sure he's using the correct profile. So, because he had a hot end on his K1 that's completely screwed up, so he put one of those on there. So, one of the high flow Triangle Lab ones.
One of our bamboo hot ends on my.
On your SVO8? Yeah. Do you want to show people that? Like, do you have the pictures for that and like the printed files?
I don't have it installed yet. I'm going to.
No, but like the page that shows it, because I think people would be interested. Because I know there's probably quite a few people watching that have SVO8s. I'm glad I canceled mine with all the issues I've seen people have. I did actually see an SVO8. I got logged in Facebook, but there was one like one town over from me that was selling an SVO8 for like $400 or something. Let me see if it's still up there. It might be gone.
From our good friend Nadir.
I'm trying to find here. There you go. Yeah. It looks so weird with the shroud off.
Yeah. He printed his own shroud for it, but
it will work with the stock shroud?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't change to the location or anything. It just
so it's just a direct
PTFE.
replacement.
Yep.
Interesting.
But he
Yeah,
has
let
his
me know how that
modified
works.
for a few other things.
Is that his printer? Is that his model?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, Nadir is doing a lot of work for the SV08 right now. He's doing his own hot end for it, which he's waiting on. I'm probably going to pick one up. But I saw this, I was like,
he's having one. He's having one made, or he's like
a custom one, and I'm pretty sure that it uses V6 nozzles as well.
Well, have him. I mean, you let him know if it's good and you think we should carry it. I'll buy some to sell in our shop.
I'm down. He's usually in chat, but he might be asleep right
now.
Yeah,
and I know that's why I recognize the name. I'm curious. I'm curious to know where he's getting them made, because that'd be kind of cool to know where actually to get like that kind of stuff made.
Custom hot end stuff.
Yeah, because I've always wanted to do one.
Bamboo hot end, and we have ours, and it's going to be a direct replacement. It's just PTFE, some heat sets, and you're good to go. And
then you're using the original extruder on there?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. You have to do another stream. You're like the SV08 stream guy now for the channel.
I need to get a few projects in to start working on for stream.
Yeah, so since it's been a slow news week, I was thinking we could, Tor and I got both printers to work on. I feel like we could just hang out with you guys and watch us work on some printers and answer your questions, because I got the SV05 sitting here on my desk that needs a couple of upgrades, and then it's going to go into the print farm to slave away for all of our machines. So I'm just going to get that set up real quick.
How do you remove light rust from the rails? A little WD-40, wipe down the rails, and then re-grease them.
Yeah. The rails should clean up fairly easily. I know, like on certain stainless stuff, like I've used like steel wool lightly, because it's slightly abrasive, but not enough to screw it up. I have not used it on rails. I don't see why that wouldn't be okay to use to just remove light surface rust, but having some sort of lubricant on the rails will prevent them from rusting. That's really what you want to have it on there for, other than lubrication, but also preventing rust. That's why you want to have a coating across the whole rail.
The oxidation layer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically doing that. Okay, well, I'm going to go throw this filament in really quick. Mobile grease.
Yeah,
just a big tube of grease.
If you guys watch Mandic Relay, you'll recognize this. But it's just a little grease pump. And it actually fits inside the grease port on the rails. So you can actually pump them in. Yeah, so if they actually do have the port, you can just pump the port and it makes a good seal. Or if you don't, you can go behind in one of the bolt holes and just pump it in with the carriage right there.
My TPU has flushed out. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna go run this.
Yeah, I used that on my Trident build, and it was super useful.
Yeah, and we're almost done with our own little. Belt tensioning tool that Tor and I've been working on.
Why is Gordon not here to show that off? I'll be right back.
I forgot. He asked me if he wanted me to bring it up. They're somewhere in here. I brought a bunch up here. No, that's not it. Maybe I brought them downstairs. I can't remember, to be honest. But yeah, we're going to have a tool that basically will be able to measure the tension on the belt by how far it presses in, and then have like set defined recommended ranges for when you put it on there, what it should be rating, if it's too light, if it's too loose or too tight. So Yeah, hopefully that should be done next week because we have all the like the actual measurement tools. It's like a little caliper almost. And then we have parts that are going on to turn into the belt measuring tool. So yeah. But I'm gonna get my other I'm gonna get my is this one of the ones you updated? Okay. Here we go. We got the elastic bands here, so we use just elastic bands for the tension. My printer is starting, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. But this may not be the final revision, but basically, when you turn it on, and it'll go back to 0. Oh God, yeah. If you do that, it'll eject the pin. So you got this pin here that pushes into the measurement thing. You do have a 0 out here, but this will not come off. Like it's actually like a tire tread depth gauge is what you use. But anyways, you got this little shoe here that goes on the end. You put the belt in the channel, you pull it back, you put the belt past the pins, and then it pushes on it, and then it'll read out how far it's pushing on it, if that makes sense. And then from that, you can get a baseline of where you need your belt to be in terms of if it's too loose or too tight. And it's very simple. It's just like a little caliper type thing. Same mechanism as a caliper. So which will make it a lot easier to set your belt tension, especially on the Core XY printers. So that's what we're messing with. It's very similar to other ones that are out. Like we were looking at those. Oh, hang on. I gotta check my print. There was just boogers on the bed. Tor, where did you go? Tor, where'd you go? Tor left me, guys. All right, let me get the other thing set up. But yeah, no, I wanna get a video on how to use this done. Tweak the design a little more if we need to. But yeah, something we've been working on behind the scenes here because I'm tired of using the mechanism where you have an app on your phone, you pluck the belts and you try to listen for the frequency, or the app tries to listen to it. Because after using that on a couple builds, it's painful. It's very painful to use. So, but all right, let me get this going. Let's see here. I love how you just left me, Tor.
I said I would be right back.
You left me. I was all alone with all these weirdos on the internet.
Especially with the Core XYs. I've done it, Mac. I've done it a few times with the app. It's not fun.
No, it's horrible. All right, so I've got my SVO5 here. Now, I'm going to be doing an easy board in it, which I think the new one I have for it's over there, or here it is. So I got an easy board for it. So I'm going to put the easy board in it to replace the stock board because we already have firmware for the stock board. And then I'm trying to find here it is. I was like, I know I printed a new mount. So this is the SVO5 mount for our 8mm probe. This is the ABS I had loaded in my machine. So a little 8mm probe. And then I've got our NG8 here that we're going to be putting on it because I'm just not a fan of the stock CR Touch because they're very, very like fiddly and they have moving parts and I just don't like them. And putting in the print farm, the CR Touches don't last very long before like their pin deploys during a print or whatever. They're just like BL Touches. I've just never been a fan of them. So we can just hang out. I'm going to work on this. What are you going to be messing with, Lord? You're going to be doing some more design. I forgot what you're going to be working on. Huh?
Probably the SVO8 probe mount. I want to get that.
Yeah. So I'm basically going to be pulling this stock board out here. I'm just going to disconnect everything. Now, here's a little tip. See how they put the hot snot over everything? Since I'm going to move this up here. Oop, and switch that so you guys can actually see what's going on. This has the Giga device chip on it, which the print quality on these are not great. They work, but they're not great. I'm going to grab my little heat gun, which we do carry this in the shop. So nice little heat gun. It's handheld. I like it. It's great for heat shrink. However, if I am careful with it, I can actually set. I usually do about like a 200C. I just realized this is hard to read on the camera. I can read it perfectly in person here. It's probably because I have the fill light on. Maybe I turned the fill light off. Yeah, there you go. You can see how easy it is. So I usually turn this up to about 200C. And then I'll just go by the hot glue here. Give it a little tug. And usually that's enough to soften it up to get the plugs out. It makes it a hell of a lot easier when you have these printers where they just go nuts with the hot snot.
Also, Sovo got back to me. They want me to reprint the melted parts.
Really? They didn't offer to send you new ones? They're just like, here's the files to reprint it. Well, I guess they open sourced the whole design, so you probably had the files already.
Yeah. Well, I had to. They're not on the GitHub. They are on the wiki, though.
Oh, okay.
So I did reprint them in the carbon fiber.
So now, since this printer came with a CR Touch, I am going to set up the firmware with the CR Touch because I want people to be able to switch this out as easily as possible. Now, if you notice, this has a 5-pin plug, so we're going to have to convert this to the separate 2-pin and 5-pin. This one was my hot end. Okay, that goes in this cable bundle. This one should be my bed. Some more hot snot down here.
Down for a bit tomorrow.
Huh?
So Fusion is going to be down for a bit tomorrow.
Oh, for maintenance? All right. Look at that. See how easy that is? Just a little bit of heat. And they come right off. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get the wires out of here. And look at, there's crimp ferrules on them.
Miguel, yeah, let me grab a link.
It's going to make this make this board swap a lot easier. Because this uses the Creality 422.
It's just EP2.
What's up? Yeah, in the along this wall, there's a square box that's got a bunch of them. So, everybody say hi to Kyle. Kyle's here in person, Mr. What is it, Viper GTSR? Yeah, Viper GTSR. You'll see him in the chat. He's up from Florida here. He's been hanging out with us for the last couple of days, and he's gonna go throw the ball for Remo. But yeah, there's a square box. There's a square box on the shelves along this wall. On the other side, there's a whole box of tennis balls for him.
That's what I use.
Yeah, he'll pop them all the time. So I have a whole box of them. Dean says, hi, Kyle.
Hello.
And 3D experiments. I just like I let random people from the internet in my house. He's actually not the first. He's actually not the first one. I've actually had quite a few people I've met through the 3D printing community and customers stay here with us because we end up becoming friends. That's my big play. This whole business is just
on the Creality Ender 3 V2. Yes, we do have a mount for the Ender 3 V2 with the Sprite.
Yeah,
in our STL pack. Let me grab the link.
So it uses the same. It uses the same mount as the Ender 3 S1, which is it replaces the CR Touch. So, but okay, so these screw holes all line up. It should. It's a 422 board. And actually, I'm gonna cheat here, and I'm gonna put these wire terminals in before I put the board in to the enclosure here. Oh,
hey, candidate Tim, is Barbie printing yet?
Oh yeah, I know he was doing a DIY build. Was that a Voron or was it?
It was a Voron V0 that's heavily modded. It's Tri-Zero with that's all pink, so it's the Barbie build. Yeah, no, I saw bits and pieces of that. Just so everybody knows, I don't watch too many 3D printing channels. Like if I'm off, like if I'm on YouTube, I usually watch like
whatever random stuff. I've been watching a lot of retro computer stuff, but I don't watch a lot of 3D printer channels.
I watch all the 3D printer channels.
I know you do. You're how.
That's my job.
Yeah, he keeps up with all that. All right, so I'm gonna put the fan stuff in. I know this is the fan terminal or the fan output. I'm gonna match red to positive, black to negative. That should be the always on. I think autofocus is. Oh no, it isn't disabled. It's actually just working correctly. It's amazing. Because sometimes when I have it up this close, it tries to focus on my hand, and then people are like, "I can't see what you're doing." They leave comments. All right. Here's the bed wires.
In Soviet Russia, all the 3D printer channels watch me. I mean, you are Scott. Try Zero Barbie.
I mean, Scott, if Scott wants to jump in and hang out, since this is a more informal stream, since there's not a ton to talk about today, if Scott wants to join in, I can send him the Streamer link, or the Streamlabs link, I should say. All right. Yeah, so pro tip, if you guys have a printer with a little enclosure like this, it's usually easier to put the terminal wires in before you install the board.
Yeah, DeWitt, I'll be there on Sunday.
Where's that?
He's streaming the Try Zero build. He should be getting running.
Yeah, Tori's like, you should do the Mercury one today. I was like, well, I gotta get this SVO5 done and off my bench. So like I can do the SVO5 because I gotta do the firmware setup for this. So that way people can have a drop-in experience. The hardest part about this is going to be the CR touch wiring. And I say hard, it's not going to be hard. So on this, we're just going to put some DuPont jumpers in here and split these off. And we should be able to figure out the pins based off of the wiring on the stock one here. So if you see here, you see GV in, so that's ground voltage, and then the signal in, and then you have the ground and out. So the ground and out are typically your Z stop, and then you have your 5-volt ground, and then the servo control is usually the in port, which is funny because it's like backwards. You would think out would be the control, but that's just how it is. I don't know why Creality labeled this like this instead of just like IO whatever for in or out. So, but
labeling pins? Never.
Well, labeling them with like descriptions that make sense instead of like whatever the hell that is. Because like in and out doesn't really make sense.
All right, I should say, all right, Canada, Tim. You have a good one.
Yeah. All right, so the mini USB, since the 422 is a micro USB, and we like the mini USB because they're usually more durable because they're through hole. It does fit in the housing for this metal because it's a metal one. On the SVO6s, we had to like kind of trim it out, but this whole, you guys might be able to see it down there. Look below Tor's head. It does fit. And I think I have a cable. I should have a mini. Yeah, let's see. Cable fits just fine in the port. So no modification required there.
You did the Mercury 1 mod on the SVO5. Were there any modifications you had to make to account for it being the SVO5, or was it just a drop-in?
I feel like it should be pretty close to a drop-in.
That's what I was thinking, but
aside from
I haven't talked to anybody.
Maybe the front extrusion, because like the tentures, if memory serves correct, those bolt onto the front extrusion on the 5s, right? Like
they do
up top here, and this is a smooth face. They both like right here, don't they?
Yeah, 3D Experiment says everything was drop-in besides the front tentures. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could do a L bracket that like swoops around from the side to the front.
Yeah. I mean, you can still tighten it down. I mean, you could just not use the tensioner. You know what I mean? All right,
yeah.
So this is a layer fan. That's going to go to fan 1. This is our Y end stop. There's the Y stop.
Pretty much the same.
This one, we remember the temp sensor that comes out with the heater. These are the heater cartridge wires. These like ones that go here. They're kind of cloth covered. So we know that's the extruder temp. So that goes to our E-temp plug. And then this other one's the bed. It's also bundled with the bed wires. I'll go ahead and plug that one in. Oh, there's like a bunch of the glue on here. A bunch of blue on here.
I just modded a 2020 cap SCL and made it into a tensioner. Yeah, that would work.
All right, we got X. Pop blue off.
I have a serial number. What is my serial number? I have like a beta serial number though.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Fancy Pants. I've got a beta serial number. I'm fancy. All right, we got Y. Got Z. Let me get the hot snot off of here. P, and this should be E. And then X here. And then the last connection is the CR touch wiring, which is the only thing that's not going to be plug and play because we don't have the 5-pin for the ZN step. Now we do have a 5-pin, and people might be like, "Oh, I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to plug it in here because it fits there." Except that won't work because that's a serial port, and it will not work with that. So we reference on here. We see the G, the ground is white, the red is VCC, and then the yellow is the signal. So that's going to go to our BL touch header or servo header on our board. And then we have the out and the G, that'll go to the ZN step. So I'm just going to grab some DuPont jumpers here.
There's my serial number.
Feel special, Tor, that you have a serial number?
Thank you. I didn't even serialize any of my borons.
Is it really a boron there if you didn't serialize it?
Oh, Scott found me.
Scott found what? Did Scott say if you wanted to jump in or not?
He said to send him a link, but
okay.
It looks like he just found me on Discord.
Hang on, I got him here. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the response to chat. My chat, I don't know. I know he's got some cool stuff in the works with input shaping. He's talking with that Ulendo company right now. So he's got some really cool shit in the works for Marlin, which is exciting. So I don't know if he'll want to talk about it. If he wants to talk about it, more than welcome to talk about it. But I don't want to divulge too much more because I don't know if he's under NDA or something. But they contributed code to input shaping for Marlin already. So let me go grab some DuPont jumpers so I can wire up the CR Touch, and then I'm going to take a picture of it so people who have this printer know how to easily wire it.
Yes. Copy link. Oh. All good, Scott.
The Chiron is chooching away with its TPU. All right, so for the wiring for this, I'm just going to use some male to female DuPont jumpers here. And I'm going to kind of match up the colors as best I can because these all come in little packs. We do sell packs of DuPont jumpers on our site for pretty cheap too, like cheaper than Amazon. So I'm going to match this up with orange going to the yellow, which is actually technically the servo color. We got the orange going to the yellow, the red going to the red, and then the brown going to the white, which is ground. So on here, we've got 5-volt ground and signal on our servo plug.
Enjoy your smoothie, Krista.
Brown and signal. So that would be red, brown, orange on my pins here. Go ahead and just shove these onto a little pin header here. There we go. That fits right in there. And then I'm going to need 2 more for the ZN stop. And I'm going to double check our wiring because I got to remember which one is which. But I'm going to do white and black here for the ZN stop. So we got 2 black ones. This is like the shielding. They're actually using the shielding for one of the signal pins for some reason. So that's going to be my white. And then my black is going to ground, which black to black. And I'll take high resolution photos of this and put in our help center for anybody wanting to put our board in the SVO5 while still using the CR Touch. If you're not wanting to use the CR Touch, you don't need to do any of this because I'm going to be putting an easy ABL on this after I test the firmware setup for the CR Touch. I just got to double check and read my own guide because I got to remember which one is which on the Z stop header. I'll show you guys what I mean here. Let's see. Because it is polarity sensitive. It's not going to short anything out, it just won't work. So if I go down here, we got filament sensors, all the other stuff here. We want the BL Touch wiring. So the BL Touch or CR Touch uses this header here, the servo header, and the Z stop for the Z signal. So if we scroll down here, we have pictures here, so you can see here. This is how it wired. So the left one is going to be my black wire, which is the ground pin, and then my right one is going to be the signal wire, which is white. So I'm going to go ahead and do that wiring really quick, and I use the same wiring that BL Touch uses. So
somebody join, but wait a minute, 1 second.
Scott joined. Is he ready? Are you ready for me to put you in the stream, Scott?
I'm just wondering about.
There you go.
Hey, Scott.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, it's going. Just printing and playing with stuff.
Yeah, it's looking good.
It looks like the weather's nice by you.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Fluffy clouds in the sky. It's a beautiful day.
Like there?
Because you're in Austin, aren't you? You're in Austin,
yep.
I think. Yeah.
Austin, Texas. Keeping it weird.
Do you want to talk about any of the input shaping stuff you're working on, or is that still top secret?
Well, it's not top secret. Actually, Ulendo is now doing an open beta that they announced on the Marlin Discord.
Oh, nice.
Pull it up and give you some of the details about it, but it's
exciting stuff.
Well, it's an Octoprint plugin that does input shaping tuning with an accelerometer plugged into the Raspberry Pi. It has a really cool interface where it shows all the waves waving
all the nice
as you're
graphs.
tuning. Yeah, it looks really cool. And then and then afterwards, it's gathered everything, does some fancy maths on it, and gives you some magic numbers to plug in for your most advanced input shaping. Like, I don't know, there's like 5 or 6 different varieties that have different numbers of variables and cancel bunches of frequencies. It's all magic to me, but they've got it all worked out, so that's pretty cool. And then I guess they're going to be offering a service where you can connect to a website and then keep logs of all your printers and your tuning info and stuff like that.
So do they? Who is Ulendo like a printer company, or are they a software company? Like, what is their thing? Like, what do they?
Yeah, their main claim to fame is, you might remember some years ago there were some lots of pictures of Capitol building prints that were all skewed, and these guys had an article out about how they were coming up with an algorithm to get rid of the hardest direction change vibrations.
Yeah, I feel like that was like what, 3 or 4 years ago, if not more.
Yep. So that's called filtered B-spline, and that's the algorithm they use for that. And but they're not including that. They're just giving us the basic framework within which filtered B-spline lives, which is like a time-based motion system. So that's sort of like, right now we have the sort of just-in-time kind of interval-based motion system where we figure out on the fly how much time to give to each step and how many steps to do on each loop and stuff. And theirs is more like they watch the clock all the time in both the main loop and then in interrupts, and they kind of coordinate those two together. So it's sort of setting up all the direction and step stuff ahead of time in a big buffer before it goes in the next step on to the actual moving of the steppers. So they're able to use that interim step to prepare all the pulses in a nice, timed way. So we needed that basis.
Is that doing it all on the control board, or is it doing it on the ARM?
It's all doing it on
the SBC. Sorry, the SBC or the control board.
Yeah, this all happens on your single board. So the idea is that for a single board machine, you wouldn't need a host or anything. Once you had your input shaping tuned, you don't have to be connected to any host or anything. It's just
okay. So it's still very much standalone then.
Very much, yeah. It's not meant.
Okay.
We're very much trying to keep. Yeah, we do have a feature in Marlin that's like it's called Step Daemon, and it allows you to use an external system to send steps to the low-level stepper routines. So you
Kind of
can
like
have
what that's kind of like
Clipper.
what Clipper does.
Yeah, it's essentially the same idea, and so you could have a controller on the Raspberry Pi that prepares all the steps and sends it over, and use that. And that's been in Marlin for years, but nobody's ever really used it.
I'll be honest, I didn't even know that was a thing in Marlin.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because I never looked for it.
Yeah, well, this kind of goes to what I've been thinking about after looking at Ulendo's stuff and being like, wow, look at this really cool front end for this feature that they're bringing in. And like, wouldn't it be great if we had a front end for every feature? And I'm thinking much more about how we can have a Marlin branded plugin and kind of gather together all the authors of other plugins and have them contribute their part to this one like unified thing. And also how we could have configuration in there, and so you could actually reconfigure, or you could have, and it would actually do the building of Marlin on the same board as your Octoprint. In the background, it would build it, and then, it could also do things like download the latest version and build that, and upgrade your configuration and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on to kind of improve the user experience and make it possible to deploy automatic updates and things like that if you have an Octoprint host.
Okay.
We could build all that stuff under something like Fluid, but I think it'll be better if we focus on Octoprint and really just try to build something that's much more, exposing everything, because everyone talks about how, like you said, there's a feature in there I never heard of. It's like if there's a front end for it, then it can actually, once it's turned on, you can configure it live. And once it's and if it's not turned on, you can just say, "Oh, turn this on," and it'll say you need to rebuild, and it'll give you the rebuild option right there on your host. I mean, that would be the best of all worlds. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. They would still be building from source, but one thing we could do, from that is like start to cache builds. And so if there's the same build, same options, everything's the same, we could just send you the binary instead of having to build it.
I'm wondering how long it would take to compile Marlin on a Pi, because it takes a good while to do it.
I know
even
how long
on
it
like
takes.
how long does it take? Because I mean, on my i9 here, which is an older processor, it takes about a minute to compile on my i9.
Exactly, yeah, and it takes several minutes to compile on like a Raspberry Pi 4. So I'm kind of thinking much more in terms of like for the future, the Raspberry Pi 5 is going to be really able to do this at speed. And
because a 5 is like really fast.
Yeah, and we also optimize the build a lot. Like we strip out in a script, we say, we look at the config options you have, and we just tell the compiler, don't even look at these files unless this option's on. Normally, the compiler would go and try to compile every CPP file, every C file, and without any, filtering. So we have this extra step in there, so we can continue to optimize that. That's kind of what I'm looking at for making that at least better. And then over time, as we get to Raspberry Pi 6, 7, 8, and they become like similar to the speed of desktop systems from the early 2000s or whatever, then we'll be catching up. But yeah, it does take several minutes on a Pi 4 for sure.
Interesting.
That's a pretty fast one. Yeah.
Yeah, so, no, the Pi 4 it is a quick chip, but for compiling, like you need that raw horsepower for compiles. Like it's just how it is. I mean, that's why we have like our website that does the compiles on our system here. That's running on an AMD Threadripper. I mean, that literally takes a lot of power to run.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. If I could somehow use like GPU enhanced build, I would totally take advantage of that. Or maybe I can use the Tensor chip or whatever to help. But yeah, right now it's. But we'll see how it goes. The main thing is that the user experience of Clipper is so much. It's sort of like everything is exposed in a certain sense. I mean, I know that when you configure, you're still editing a text file. but you only have to put in like you're just basically pasting in little blobs as you need them. Rather than
I'm getting ready to compile here
there.
too. I'm getting ready to compile here, so if I go all crazy because it's killing my CPU, that's why. I'm as we were chatting, I'm building the config for the SVO5 right now for the easy board.
Should be good. Should be good.
It'll kill my processor. This computer is getting a little long in the tooth. I mean, I built it in 2018, so.
Oh wow.
Yeah. We actually didn't pull up the QA.
Not too bad.
Oh yeah, we can pull up the Q&A. Yeah, we can pull up the Q&A. We're just kind of hanging out for a bit. We do have some other stuff to do, so we'll probably kill this in about 30 minutes here. But I wanted to do something today. If depending on what's going on, is it like chopping too bad? It's almost done compiling.
Not bad. I can see, it may stop for like a 1/10 of a second, but it's not bad.
It should be almost done here.
Cool.
So, but I also got a bunch of other stuff running too. So,
another thing that's what is it? Oh, I was going to mention. I was thinking a lot about these LLMs now. Are kind of they've actually been
the large language models.
Yes, things like ChatGPT 4o have been really helpful to my work lately, especially like documentation. I'm thinking about especially.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you could feed it a bunch of stuff. Hey, write me documentation for this, and then you're gonna have to proofread it, but still, it'll get you like most of the way there.
Yeah, I mean, I basically just took a snippet of, say, the config file, and I just said, describe, based on these lines, explain how these things work, and it did a really good job of producing something that looked more like documentation.
Yeah, essentially just commenting on everything.
And that's ultimately that also got me. Then I started experimenting with, now I'll ask it like for help questions, like if I was a help robot to, give me all the information I would ever want to know about this particular 3D printing technology. And at first it was a little bit. It was referred to like files that only exist in TH3D firmware, like config.
Oh, really?
And I'd be like, no, that doesn't exist in the main fork. Don't refer to that.
So it's pulling. So the knowledge of our branch is in the large language model. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it knows about all kinds of versions of Marlin and configs.
And you're like, damn it, Tim, you're screwing up the LLM for me.
No, I mean,
it was really my motivation was just to screw up the LLMs.
Yeah, there's thousands of forks out there, so I got to like sort of rein it in. But little by little, I was starting to get better at answering my questions, and it started to occur to me that, wow, it's like we could spend all this time writing documentation, but nobody reads it.
Well, we could have the machines do it for us.
Yeah, the only reason it exists is to be searchable. And then you find the paragraph you're looking for, and you read that, and like, why? Why not just ask the computer for the answer? So I think that's the direction we're going. We're finally. I'm
an idiot. I forgot to tell this that it homes to max on this printer, so now I got to compile again.
Oops.
I was like, wait.
That's very similar to the Ender 5 S1.
Yeah, and the Ender 5 in general.
Yeah.
So, because I got to tell it. I mean, it's kind of funny that they called it the SVO5, and it's kind of like their version of the Ender 5. I mean, I think it's a better version of the Ender 5. As somebody that has both, I think it's a better version of the Ender 5.
They made a better version of the Ender 5, but they messed up on the Voron.
I know, right? Like, and the thing is, like, Soval has had a pretty good track record of making good printers, and then like the SVO8 has been kind of a shit show. The SVO7 was a flop. I have one sitting in the box that John from Tripod's Garage sent me because he hated it so much. So, yeah, that's why I have that sitting there.
They need to be like continuously repaired or adjusted to tweak it. And
I'm curious to know, Scott, what are your thoughts on the market transitioning over to these printers that just are not as repair friendly because of like they're going to all the ribbon cables and the breakout boards and the control boards like every other model seems to have like its own proprietary board. Like just for example, like this is the board they use in Ender 3 S1 and the Ender 3 S5. All the hot end stuff goes over this ribbon cable. How are you supposed to replace this easily? You can't. Like there's no easy way to replace this with a third-party board.
Yeah, I mean, and the trend towards like I know Big Tree Tech made these single board like stepper driver slide in edge connector things.
The easy.
They're probably a better idea.
But, so I talked to Luke about those, and he straight up said they did it because they had so many people inserting the step sticks backwards, and they wanted to have a form factor that not only was easier to cool, but the main driver behind that was because people kept putting them in backwards.
Wow. I mean, yeah.
I like their form factor.
Yeah. There would be a way to make keyed. I mean, I understand that you can't just make a keyed thing, and because these things are meant to be use any step stick you want. Boards.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're going to make boards that way, that's the whole point, is to make them, much more. If people don't want that, they'll buy one with soldered-on drivers.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, most of my printers are running solder-on drivers. I mean, the boards we make and sell have solder-on drivers, and for 90+% of people, it's fine. I used to care about it, and then I was like, as long as it's got a good driver on it, I really don't care if I can change it out or not. Because, like, knock on wood, like I haven't had any boards with solder drivers, like where a driver goes out. Usually, it's like
not with recent drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it seems like a very rare thing, and it's not impossible to repair. I mean, it's in a way, it's like if they wanted to do a board exchange, it would be for that kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, it's they could at least resell the board as a refurb, or reuse it in a new unit. Why not? I mean, it's got a little bit of life in it, but the thing is, like, boards are funny in that way. They'll either like die quickly or they'll last forever. There's doesn't seem to be much in between.
So I had, I just had a board in our Ziltech gear, which has like the Robin Nano something in it, and like it's one of those ones with the TFT that runs off the processor that the Marlin UI works with, and I ended up just buying another. I found it on AliExpress. I was like, I really don't want to convert this damn thing over to another board and change the screen. So I just bought another one. But I mean, I got 4, maybe 5 years out of that board. So for a board that's like a $20 board, it was fine. It does have socketed drivers, but it was the board that died, not the drivers. So.
Well, I'm in the same neighborhood where Rossman Repair Group is now. And so,
Oh, have you stopped by there yet?
Oh yeah, I've actually had them repair some stuff for me already. I spilled fluid onto one of my laptops and had to have it fixed there. So yeah, they don't do screen replacements though, so I still have a discoloration on that screen. But
is that your new? Is that your new? The new was it the M2 or M3 Mac you have?
The one I'm using right now is an M2 that I got to replace that liquid damaged M1.
Okay.
And, my M1 I'm loaning it to a friend right now, so to play with AI art and stuff like that.
One of my buddies actually was playing with. It was a local AI thing, and it loads that you need to have like a RTX 3090 or higher or something like that, some with a ton of VRAM, because it would load the whole model into the GPU's memory. And it was crazy how good it was. Like it took once. I mean, if you have an NVMe drive, it doesn't take that long to load the model into the GPU.
Wait,
but
I have one of those.
What's that?
I think I might have one of like the locally hosted.
Yeah, I know he told me it needed to be like I think a 3090 or maybe a 3080. I know it's basically one with a ton of VRAM. Like I have one 3090 or I have like a bunch of 3070s, but I don't know if those be able to do it. I can't remember what the name of it was. I could message him.
Probably Stable Diffusion and probably a front end like Invoke AI or something like that. There's also some other front ends like Diffusion B and a few others, but yeah, they all pretty much, they do a great job, and they're pretty quick, like 10 seconds. You've got a big image, and
it's all local. That's the big thing.
Yeah, I can run the smaller models on my laptop. The SDXL I have to use my desktop for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing, and I've been using it to make some artworks for fun. Like
some of the AI art looks like something straight from the pits of hell, though. Like it makes some terrifying images. There's some people like AI is really just the devil coming through the computers. I mean, some of the images are freaking terrible. Like if you showed that to like, a 10th century peasant, they would freak out.
Oh,
is that did you did you print that, or is that a print?
Inkjet printed, and then
boring printer.
I used a bit of glue and Mod Podge to put it on this wood backing.
Okay,
they come up.
I thought it was a Hue Forge at first.
You can make these all day. Why not? Just fun with AI art, right? Why not make some things out of it instead of
you could make stuff like that. So that's the interesting thing. Like when it comes to copyright, who owns the copyright on AI art?
Well, nobody really. It depends on how it's deployed. Like if you really spend, like if you say you take a piece of AI art that's black and white, and then you take some paint and you color it. I mean, you've kind of built on top of an AI art, but you've created something that's more unique and so it's no longer as derivative. And so you could theoretically claim the copyright on that. But
like, let's just say images that are full color that you just generated. Do you own the copyright on that then?
Nope. No, they're according to at least the framework for the law that is going to eventually be developed around this. No, you're supposed to not consider that a human copyrightable thing. It has to come from a person's actual. They have to have some input. So you can't just have a prompt and then keep tweaking the prompt until you get something just right. That's prompt art, but it's not really the final output. It's not the same thing as the prompt. So it's sort of like, that transformation makes it much less copyrightable. And I can understand that. I wouldn't necessarily want to copyright stuff that I made just because I like sitting, using some prompt, because it would be very easy to someone to put in the same prompt and maybe the same number and accidentally get the same image.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if we use the same LLM and we use the same prompt and all the same settings, like all the because there's all those variables you can like adjust, right? Like
like the image generators. Yeah, image generators are deterministic. So if you put in the same number and the same info every time, you'll get the same thing out every time.
Will you? Okay.
Of course, it's different from LLMs where it's non-deterministic and you don't know what you'll get out because it's all doing things statistically in real time.
Hey Tor, look, I got the CR touch wiring right the first try. Yeah, nice. You can tell I haven't done much. You can tell I haven't done much with this because it's doesn't even have our build plate on it yet, and you can see all the dust on it from it sitting in my office for a bit.
Looks like it's too well.
Yeah, it's looks like I got the firmware set up correctly.
I don't know about that huge double bounce though. It probably needs a smaller gap there.
Well, the problem I found, if I lower that value, sometimes like the BL touch gets angry or the CR touch gets angry.
Yeah. So, yeah, you definitely wanted to have enough space between to put the pin out.
Yeah. And that's a CR touch. I think the CR touch has about the same.
Look, it did that quitting thing. Oh, no, it didn't.
What's that?
It looked like it stopped for a second there, but
no, it's going.
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, and the CR touch isn't too bad. It's about the same speed as BL touch. I do like the build quality on the CR touch better than the BL touch, though. I will say that because it's got a metal pin. It is a little. You could feel the difference. It's not as cheap feeling. It is a little heavier, but it is a more robust probe than the BL touch.
That's weird because I know the original BL touch did have a metal pin.
Yeah, they got rid of that. I don't know if you've seen the new ones. They're all plastic.
Yeah, when I went to the 3D meetup in Sweden, that was when they were introduced. And Paris talked about them a little bit. I thought the technology was really cool though, and the refinements were very good.
All right, so I do have a couple questions in the QA. The first one's from Affixi, and they're saying, should I buy a new PSU or replace fan? He's got Ender V2 Neo. I'm assuming Ender 3 V2 Neo. How much quieter is a real manual PSU, and should I need to replace fan to make it much quieter? I know the manual only kicks on when it's hot though. So the stock manual power supply is going to be louder a little bit, not a ton, a little bit louder than the stock Creality knockoff that comes in that printer, because that printer's power supply comes with like a 70 millimeter. That's a low flow that's just on all the time. You could replace the fan if you want. Those takes that, like, actually the SV05 has that same knockoff, so you can see it's a 70 millimeter fan here. So you could get a new fan, or you can replace PSU. Now the Creality knockoffs of the Meanwells are actually not that bad compared to what they used to be using. Me personally, I would probably just switch it out for a Meanwell. But if you want to replace the fan, you can replace the fan too. It really comes down to what you want to do. The fan's going to be cheaper if you can find the correct fan. You just have to match the voltage and the size, and
yeah,
not
they
just
went through a few different PSUs on that one, so you really want to open it up to check.
Yeah, because they came with a Meanwell originally, and then they switched it to what they still call it branded power supply. It's their own brand, but it's a knockoff of it. Yeah, I mean, if your power supply is working other than the fan, I would probably just replace the fan. But if you do want to go to a Meanwell makes really good power supplies. It's not going to be silent, but their fans do make a little bit of noise. They're not
only
like
under load, so
yeah, it's when it's hot.
Running.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what to equate it to. Like maybe it sounds like a tiny little desk fan running when it's on. Oh, is that the probe mount for the Ender 3 V3K eTour?
SV08.
Oh, that's for the SV08. Okay.
Yeah. You have the I don't have that printer, so you have to test that.
I have that printer, yes. Okay, the next one, this should be a pretty quick one to send them down the rabbit hole of diagnosing things. So he's got an Ender 3. This is from Animal Friend. He's got an Ender 3. You got a thermal runaway error. Loud warning sound. Yep, it screams. You can thank Scott for that. And he's already tried replacing the thermistor. Typically, if I'm getting intermittent thermal runaway errors, I will just replace the thermistor and the heater, because you're already in there. They're cheap, and you could have issues with the heater going out. They do go out. You could also have a break in the wire somewhere. I just replace from the hot end all the way back, typically, because like they're cheap. Like a 3-pack of 50, or like the 3-pack of the like standard 40-watt heaters. I think we even sell them for like $10. I think I'm checking right now. Yeah, 3-pack is $10 for heaters. Thermistor, I know those are pretty cheap too. I don't know if he's in the chat, but he might come back and watch it. Yeah, like a 3-pack of the thermistors is like $7. So yeah, and then after I do that, I would run a PID tune as well. Also, someone mentioned, so Max CJ talked about the PID tune. I would also run a PID tune before you replace the hardware, because I have seen it where your PID is slightly off, and when the layer fan kicks on, it cools down the block enough where the PID is not at the correct values to compensate for the fan blowing on it. So I would run a PID tune with the fan on, and then see if that goes, because there's like 2 printers in our print farm that we have to have a PID tune run on them for whatever reason. Otherwise, when the layer fan kicks on, it doesn't have a tight enough PID to keep up with the fan blowing partially past the block. So yeah. Any other input from the peanut gallery?
Make sure that the sock is on there as well.
Yeah, wrap your hot end up. I run socks on. I don't run printers unless they have socks on them, because it's just so much easier versus trying to deal with a bunch of crap on your nozzle. I got the extruder direction right the first time too, on the first try tour.
This is better.
Look at that. Let's go in the correct direction. Okay, so 3D Experience says, explain your latest easy ABL lineup. I want another 8mm probe that has adjustable sensitivity and works on all surfaces. So first off, we have 4 probes, and we are going to be discontinuing the lights because they just weren't a good seller. They were like a cheaper version. Apparently people don't want a cheaper version. The light sensors were ones that only worked on metal beds. I think those are almost all gone. And then we have the two sizes, the 18 and the 8s. So the 18s are adjustable, but they come pre-calibrated. The 18 NG sensor, the light is a fixed distance, and then the NG8 is an 8mm capacitive type, just like the 18. But that is at a fixed distance of like 2.5 to 3 millimeters. So there's no room to put a potentiometer in those tiny housings to adjust the sensitivity on the smaller probe. So we have a fixed distance. But yeah, so I'm not aware of any capacitive adjustable 8mm size sensors. We've looked. It took us a while to find a good, accurate 8mm capacitive sensor. Like, it took a while. The inductive ones, which are the NG lights, those have been easy to find. But we're going to be discontinuing the lights because we don't use them, or we don't sell them as much anymore, just because people just want the one that works on all surfaces.
Yeah.
There you go. Look at that.
Little 8mm.
Are you just using the nuts to, like, as a stopper almost?
Yeah, to stop it from moving. Or no, I didn't want to take them off and lose them.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't think you need to leave the nuts on there.
I mean,
is that on your? That's on your SVO8?
Yeah.
I take it you're tired of the one that came with.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's going to make your print head heavier.
Oh no! Whatever will we do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh man!
It would cause way too much inertia.
Oh my god!
No, I'll have to slow down by 1,000.
Don't tell that to the SVO5, okay? About weight on the print head.
That's the new graph setup.
So it's going to kind of look like. I mean, it's kind of looked like what you'd expect it to look like, right?
Yeah.
But I actually have video, but I don't know if I can show you that one.
You don't know you can show me a video? You got to keep it. You got to keep it all secret.
Slightly secret. I don't know.
Mr. Important over here.
I got to be discreet.
Okay. Couple 1, 2, 3 more questions. So 3 experiments says, why do some of my printers like an Ender 6 need baby stepping adjusted from print to print? Honestly, go over the printer and make sure nothing's loose. Because I've noticed when my printers need to be baby stepped on the start of the print, it's usually because something's loosened up. Usually the wheels, or even like the sensor mount or the printed parts. Like, typically after we do maintenance on a printer, we notice, hey, we don't have to touch it. Like this one, I just started this one. I didn't even have to adjust it at all. But the printers that have a lot of wear on them and they haven't been kept on maintenance, I do notice that we have to do more baby stepping. So it seems, just in our experience, the more wear on the printer, the more likely it's going to need baby stepping, because there's more slop into the system. So if you go do maintenance, tighten up, make sure all your wheels are tight, making sure your belts are all tensioned, like make sure all your mounts are not loose. That will typically clear most of that up. So that's been my experience. I don't know, Scott. What is your advice? Like, just make sure your printer's working.
Well, I mean, of course, tightening everything up is like super essential. Otherwise, everything else is going to be garbage.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, the first time you do a maintenance or move your printer, of course, do your Z offset calibration and things like that. Make sure your bed is re-leveled if you need to. With a cube-shaped printer like this, it's typically it doesn't change that much when you move it, but once they're bed slingers, they often have, like, the frame is, you know,
yeah, they're not as
trueness depends on what surface it's standing on. Yeah.
Yeah, the 6 is a Core XY cube. Like, I have the 6. I actually have my 6 behind me. So
the issues I've had with these style printers with Z offset is that the bed is essentially a springboard, especially on the original Ender 5. If you probe too fast, it would still be vibrating while you're probing, so it would keep throwing off the offset.
Oh, weird. Yeah, and of course,
why my camera's not. Is my audio working? My camera.
Yeah, your audio is working.
There it is.
And of course, we still have that issue where, like, if the probe is off angle at all, you know, the readings are garbage because it's reading the wrong part of the bed, or it's also at a weird angle. And it can only be, you know, it can be a fraction of a degree, and it still seems to make a difference.
Yeah,
and
you
if you
want to
have
have them as
or
like
whatever.
perpendicular to the bed, as not tilted.
Yep.
You don't want to have your sensor tilted.
Yeah, but if you have wheels, some of them could be flattened on one side a little bit or
which
uneven,
then
and you throw
affects.
things off.
Yeah, that's about my experience has been okay. If we have a printer that's like drifted all over the place, like even customer ones, we'll go through, make sure like we'll replace bearings that are worn out. If there's wheels that have flat spots, we'll replace them. And then it's like, oh, hey, the printer just works now. Like,
amazing.
Yeah.
Fixes that, But that's
Yeah,
one
and
of the
the other
things.
thing.
These machines are vibration generators, so of course they loosen up over time.
Yep. Well, and the other thing too, I've noticed because I saw someone mention about the probe offset changing with heat. I have not noticed it's the probes. It's more of the. It's more of like the whole printer expanding and contracting from the heat from the bed, like the whole freaking frame. Because like if you're starting a print and it's been sitting there and it's the whole printer is room temperature, you ran a print, everything's gonna be warmer. It's gonna change things. So
yeah, that's why a lot of the Voron printers you see
they tell you to preheat them.
backers. Yeah, preheating, and they have like frame backers that are titanium to stiffen everything up because the aluminum extrusion and the linear rails will actually
Well, and the rails are probably gonna and the rails are probably gonna deflect at a different rate than the aluminum it's mounted to because they're two different types of metals. So, I mean, the answer is like if you preheat your printers, let them sit and get heat soaked for a while. But do you really want your printer to sit there for like 15, 20 minutes, like, or do you just want to adjust the first layer and move on with your day? You know what I mean? Like. The baby stepping feature is great.
I have a little bit of a soak for my printers because I don't mind. I don't need the print done in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean we have this option to automatically heat the bed for probing, but if you're doing homing with a probe, it'll heat up the bed when you home.
Yeah, we recommend people preheat. Well, and we do recommend people preheat just to like. Well, we recommend people to preheat, but just to get the bed up to temp so it can, because if you probe it when it's flat, when it's off, and it's going to be one geometry, and then you probe it when it's on, it'll be completely different mesh ratings. Yeah. So like, because the bed, especially you got to remember all these printers using really cheap, like typically rolled aluminum, and rolled aluminum likes to deform when it gets heated up.
Oh, it sure does.
But it's cheap, which is why they use it. So
yeah. Like we have this thing with like universal bed leveling. You can save your meshes into different slots. So you could do like probe the bed when it's cold, save that, then probe when it's hot, save that. Probe when it's even hotter and save that, and then just pull those out when you need them to kind of save time.
So Scott, how much longer are we going to support AVR processors in Marlin?
I'm continuing to keep support for AVR for as long as those printers are out there, and that like we're still making like the firmware for the AVRs better. So it's like people should be able to upgrade their old printers, and also it's kind of like it is in the spirit of the thing to as tinkerers, like we're gonna have these old printers are sitting around in our closets for like the next decade, and wouldn't it be great if 10 years from now you could install the newest Marlin on that old piece of crap, but have like at least the benefit of fewer bugs.
I mean, I don't think I have a single 8-bit printer anymore in my fleet. I think everything's 32-bit at this point.
Yeah, I mean, my focus is definitely for like I'm not resistant to like features that might be 32-bit only anymore.
Yeah,
so there is that. So there will be some that are like that, and it may have to be like we won't be able to port all these fancy input shapers to AVR. All we'll get is ZV input shaping, which at least we have one variety of input shaping. So
you're limited by not only the processor speed but the RAM and the program memory on these chips. And like here's what I don't get: why did Atmel give the 1284 more RAM than 2560?
I know it's got like you can actually use. You may not be able to run as many features, but you can have a much more like fancy input or at least you can put a lot of more stuff that uses RAM, like the input shaper on one of those, easier than you can on a 2560, which is funny.
It's so weird.
I know it's a weird trade-off. It's like apparently there's some applications that are just really need memory, and I think the idea was we'll reduce the power of the chip, but increase the memory to keep the price fairly even or something like that.
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know if the complexity of the chip is that different, that the cost is that different. I think
yeah, I feel like the 1284 is probably just a cut down 2560, but then it's got more memory, which I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
like
it's one of those things that we point out, but it's like it's almost a curiosity because we can't depend on it.
Yeah.
If we could, like, that'd be great. But
all right, I got a guy named Jeff. Oh, the guy we're building the Core XY printer. We just ordered the frame for it. He's asking for the belt tension vise. It'll work on any size belt. Yeah, we're gonna have right now. They have we got the shoe for what the 6 millimeter width. What's the standard? 6? Yeah, 6 millimeter. And then I was thinking about making one for the 10 too, so just include both of the shoes for the pin in the box.
It's an S steel pack because 10 isn't as common.
Yeah, but I mean, we could include that as a part in the pack. It wouldn't. They're such tiny little parts. So, all right, let's see, because I didn't realize it's already been 30 minutes since I. But hey, the firmware is working on the SU05, so that was easy. It's all done.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering if all the printers in the future will use magnetic actuators instead of belts. That's a new thing.
Oh, like the Pyopoly one.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I don't know how it works as far as like changing direction. I imagine it's apparently it keeps its position remarkably well.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. There's no belts or anything. There's you just got the rails or whatever it rides on. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, do they? I haven't looked at those closely. Do those use the magnets to hold it in place too, and move?
It's just like a stepper motor. Yeah, it's basically a linear stepper motor. It's just like the same idea. Instead of rotating, it just goes along the length.
So there's no rails on those to hold the design of the linear motor. Is there?
I think it's got a dual linear rail on the side.
Okay, so there's still a rail. Okay. It's not magnetically held in place, is what I was asking.
No. I mean, to the extent that it is, it's like the same way that it's like a stepper motor shaft is still balanced in the middle. In the same way, this thing still has to be balanced on some kind of linear rails. But once it's on the linear rails, you can use the stepping built into the rail, which is pretty cool. And I guess, as I understand it, it basically uses the same stepper driver concept, so that if you have holding torque, all that, you can use 2560s and have smaller steps.
So you don't have to have special drivers and
Trinamics.
Well, they do have closed loop steppers on them. But yeah, they do have linear.
Oh, and they're closed loop. Yeah, that's the other cool thing. So it can auto, and that why not? It should be linear. It's linear, and that's kind of a great idea. I think it would be interesting to see more of those come around, like a Delta built with linear rails and a Oh
God, I hate Delta so much. I do not like Deltas.
Let's talk about the new Prusa Delta. It's
being proposed. God. I did want to answer. 3D Experiments asked. 3D Experiments asked if we were still buying old control boards. We are not. I think I did some promo at one point, but no. And then Casey, this is the last question in here. Casey is asking about a video for the new gear set and the aluminum tension arm we have for the bamboos. I am planning on making one, so I got to put mine back to stock and then record putting it in. It takes longer to get.
Yeah, if you do need assistance getting those installed, the Bamboo Wiki is the exact same process.
Yeah.
They actually did a really good job with the wiki. You have a lot of things.
Yeah, so it just replaces. It's just a new gear set. I'm looking here. They might have you only. Hang on, I'm trying to see if they show you how to take apart the extruder, or if they just replace it as one unit. Do they sell? Yeah, they do sell the gear assembly. Okay. I'm looking here. Okay, here we go. So they do actually have really good guides here. So I'll also just link that. I still want to make my own video on it, but they do have good guides here. So like they're shown here. It's under their extruder clog one, but this is linked on. I got here from the product page for the gear assembly here. So this is their gear assembly, and this is just their plastic arm with their normal. These are just their normal hardened steel gears. Ours is hardened steel with the nano coating on there, and then it's also a metal arm instead of this cheap plastic one. However, it's a 1-to-1 replacement. So like they tell you how to clear it and stuff, but like you can disassemble the extruder here. I'm assuming they're going to show taking it apart.
Yeah, it's just 4 screws.
Yeah, and if this lid pops off, because I've had to take these apart. Yeah, I had to take ours apart. I had to rebuild the customers. Yeah, so you take that up, you take the lid off, you pop this out, like it just pulls out, and then you take the arm
need to
out.
be big and chunky.
No, they don't. We're in the age of the small ones. Oh, look at they have like a little jig you can. Oh, they have a little jig you can print. Oh, come on. You don't need a jig. You just take the arm out, you put the new one in. But they do have
the jig was not there when I
no.
It's mine.
Oh, they're showing how to it's to pop the it's to pop the so let's say take the screw there and pop the gear out. Oh. Okay, I mean, I guess you don't really need the jig. You just hold it.
I just put my nails under either side of the
gear. But it's literally you just take it out, replace it, and that's it. So, but I will make our own video on it. But they do have their own guide here, and it's the same guide for the P1 as the X1 because the extruder assembly is the same. It's just the P1 comes with the stainless steel gears. They're not hardened. So whether you have the X1 or the P1, ours are an upgrade either way.
If only there was a jam clearing mechanism of some kind. Tricky. Jam prevention would be best, I guess.
Yeah, then you get into like encoders and stuff, and like how many times has Big Tree Tech tried to make a filament sensor with an encoder, and like they just never kind of like I know they have the codes in Marlin for them, but like it just has to run perfect every single time, or you get false triggers, and then it's like if you're false triggering all the time, you might as well. It's just annoying. You might as well just get rid of it.
Yeah, we basically have it set up like. Yeah, most people configure it so it's like, if it doesn't seem to be moving for several seconds, then it's probably jammed. But yeah, it's not going to assume it's jammed if it's just a fraction of a second or it just misses one step.
Yeah, and getting those settings right. So because if you, I can't remember what the Big Tree Tech settings were, but if you use their settings, it false triggers all the time.
Oh wow!
So
yeah,
and I just
relax some of those.
Yeah, have a threshold. Be like, okay, is it still giving me crappy readings after 5 seconds? Yeah, we could probably assume there's an issue.
Yeah, so you could definitely make some of those things more user configurable at runtime as well.
Yeah,
especially for the optical versions. If you use the wrong type of filament, it's like shiny, clear. You're SOL. You might as well disable it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested. I'm curious about the choice of a Delta form factor for a machine in 2024.
I think it's because they bought that company, right? That TL.
Oh, okay.
I've seen some of the things on it. It looks pretty cool. They have a servo in the tool head to control.
Trilab. Trilab is the company they bought.
Okay.
I mean, like, I just don't see the point of Deltas. I really don't. Like, especially over like even Core XYs, like they take up a lot of space. They got the weird circle bed.
Oh yeah. Do they call the people who work there trilobites?
The Delta IQ. Yeah, see, they bought them out. This is a company that existed.
I see. That makes sense then. I mean, it is an interesting choice. I mean, you can sort of understand the reason is for speed.
This is just like it includes a smart. So they literally just give you an Android smartphone as a controller for the printer. It's literally just an Android phone.
I mean, what was it? The Orange Storm Giga gives you a pretty much an Android tablet.
Yeah, it's literally a phone on a 3D printed mount strapped to the printer.
That's hilarious.
And this is just running a V6.
What happens if you start getting voicemails from the former owner of that number? That's cool. I mean, it's a slick Delta. I remember when was it Maker Slide or whoever it was, Terrence Tam's company.
Isn't FL Sun like the one that's making all the crazy Deltas these days? I feel like they're one of the other ones that. Yeah.
FLSun like only makes deltas.
Yeah, and I think their last one got a little bit dinged for the quality on the build, or maybe it's with the firmware.
I got the industrial. Oh, you know, hang on. You know it's expensive when they say get a quote. They don't give you the prices.
Oh, right.
You can only adjust the Z offset by 0.2 millimeters on the new FLSun Delta. Like they locked out updates and everything. The S1.
The T1. I thought it was the T1.
No, the S1 is the new one.
Is the new one?
Okay.
That one right
they
there.
do have a T1, which is cool. Yep.
I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong, but like, I just don't get why not just go with 4XY.
That CPAP is loud as hell.
Yeah.
And it's pulling in air from outside to push cool air into the heated enclosure. So that's smart. Yeah, the firmware is like a gimped version of Clipper. So it has its issues. But they locked out the Z offset.
AI! Of course it's got fucking AI. That's new buzzwords.
Naturally. Yeah,
so, do you remember when cloud was the latest buzzword that was taking the internet by storm?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't believe in AI for 3D printing yet. I think it's really premature to start.
Yeah, they're trying to jump on the bandwagons. Just remember, guys, when you hear cloud, it's just somebody else's computer. That's it. This is kind of cool. Zone heating is kind of cool. I do like that.
I do like that. Yeah. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, leveling, you got to have ABL. Like any printer has to have some sort of ABL at this point if it's coming out. Pressure advance, it's got linear advance, it's got input shaping.
Just list everything that Clipper has, guys.
Yeah. But hang on, they claim that they have their own Delta algorithm. Hang on. Right here, self-developed Delta structure control algorithm to improve speed.
On trigonometry or two?
They invented trigonometry.
Sine and cosine.
They invented it, Scott. Okay.
Hey,
man, look at this. Look at this fucking Photoshop job of this fucking
dude. That is a 3D printed helmet, which
but it's photoshopped on a guy. Like this is so badly photoshopped on here.
It empowers advanced projects.
Hey, Tor, you can have this loud thing in your living room.
Advanced.
Look at this.
I already have an FLSun printer in my living room. It hasn't printed in like 3 or 4 years.
So so this is what. So did Chris simply license this, or did they buy the company?
No, this
is a Chinese company.
The other guys.
They bought out the other company.
That filament dryer, from what I've seen, so many people have had issues loading filament, and it popped.
That's funny.
Popping off the side.
Here, cloud. They got cloud stuff. Oh, environmental protection. I see they forgot to take this like hero element out of their whatever template they were using for this webpage.
That's funny. Energy conservation and air filtration.
Short standby automatic rest screen, long standby automatic shutdown, and air filtration. It will absorb the harmful gases and create a safe printing environment. Wow. Yeah. What does this mean? NPU, 2 tops. You might get 2, okay? 2 tops, okay?
2 teraflops or something?
Oh, is that what it means? Like, I don't know. It says 2. It's processor NPU 2 tops. Like you get max 2. You might get 1, but 2 tops. Okay. How many can I get in my printer? 2 tops. Okay.
I mean, if the NPU is used at all, it would be used by probably the AI stuff, I guess.
Yeah, the neural processing unit.
But they have their own
CV, basically.
I think.
Oh, cool. Which is it a? There we are.
Yeah, I think my Comcast hiccup there for a second, and it bumps everybody out when I rejoin. Apparently,
they have their own rebranded slicer.
Yeah, so I do have to run, otherwise I'm going to get yelled at by the missus. But if you and Tor, if you and Scott want to hang out and keep rolling, by all means, you guys can hang out and chat.
Something to eat and then.
Okay.
Beat Saber.
Would anybody be down
Ooh,
for
good idea.
like a? Would anybody be down for like a stream this weekend, like hanging out, working on printers, and just shooting the shit?
I'm always down for that kind of thing. I've got a lot to work on this weekend.
Is your Marlin sign behind you changing colors, or is it just the angle or the lighting in the room?
It is. I have it lighted up.
Oh,
I turned
okay.
it on with my home, automation software here. What's it called? Magic Home. I got one of those Magic Home LED strips in there.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about because I have them in my car.
Yeah.
The Bluetooth ones.
It's great for building stuff like this, and just like,
yeah,
you don't have to do your own electronics. Just
I know you can be lazy. It's great. It's like I could do my own, but do I really want to? So
now what's
this? Your camera changed.
Yeah, it switched to my phone camera automatically. Nice.
Oh, that's
nice.
weird.
Let's undo that, shall we?
At least there's nothing embarrassing in it.
I know, right?
You know, like that one news reporter where she turned her camera on, she had an adult toy on her bookcase in the background the entire time she was live on air. that was like, man, that'd be embarrassing. Oh, it's just locked up. Your connection's complaining, but there it goes. You're back.
I just had to hit disconnect on the camera, and after a few seconds, it comes back. It's funny. Yeah, if I bring the camera out, it's like, you want to use this, don't you? No.
It's trying to anticipate your every move, okay, Scott?
But yeah, I'll be working on Trinamic 2240 this weekend finally, and getting that.
What are the 2240s? Is that just another revision of
Yep, yet another SPI controlled Trinamic driver.
Oh, we're doing SPI still. Okay.
Yep, this one.
I feel like UART. Oh, it does both. It does UART and SPI. I'm looking up the data sheet here.
But the implementation so far that Big Tree Tech has done is only SPI.
Oh, okay.
So
Big Tree Tech.
I'm not worrying about others until we start to see UART models come out.
Okay.
In actual printers.
Is this? I'm looking at this. If this is one that's got built-in MOSFETs, or is it one that needs external MOSFETs? Hang on, I'm looking here.
Good question.
Oh yeah, 2 fully integrated 36 volt, 3 amp max H bridges. So it seems like it's just a higher amp rated 2209, basically. Looking at the specs on here, for the most part.
Yeah, I think that's the idea.
Yeah.
Something to kind of put into your E3D tool changer.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of the. Oh, that's interesting. Did Analog Devices buy Trinamic?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I just went to the mouse. I bought the Mauser, and I'm going to end the stream after this. But this is just interesting. So look at ADI Trinamic. So I'm wondering if either they licensed it or they bought. If Analog Devices bought Trinamic. Hang on, Analog Devices buys Trinamic. Let's see.
That's celery.
Maxim acquires Trinamic. Is Maxim part of ADI?
Wow. So they're going to have Trinamics on the centerfold now?
Wrong kind of Maxim, Scott.
Oh.
Okay, but like here, the 5130s, 5160s, they're on Analog. I wonder if Analog, now part of Analog Devices.
Oh, sure enough. Look at that. Well, congratulations.
When did they get bought?
Yeah, that's new. 3.3 years? Or just 3.3 years of history?
Yeah. When did that happen?
3 years. I don't know.
When did so Maxim acquires Trinamic? Does Maxim own
probably
maybe
ADI? It's a holding company or something.
Yeah. I'm just looking here. Interesting.
Well, all right then.
Well, shit.
First Nextion and now Trinamic.
Yeah. Unless Maxim sold them off.
Yeah.
Let me see if Google gives me better results. There's Maxim acquires Trinamic. Oh, wait, here. Analog Devices completes acquisition of Maxim.
Oh.
So Maxim bought Trinamic, and then Analog bought Maxim. So there's the corporate food chain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, apparently that was an old link. But yeah, so Yeah,
Okay.
here completes acquisition. This is 2021.
Okay.
Oh, and then Maxim bought. Okay, so Maxim's still operating, and then so Analog bought Maxim in 2021. Maxim bought Trinamic in 2022, and then Analog was like, "Hey, we're going to put the Trinamic under our branding," which makes sense considering what Analog Devices makes. But yeah, Scott, I actually have been working on some stuff that you might find takes you back, all the old pinball machines with all the old 6802 processors and stuff on them.
Oh my god! I have to admit, I have watched some pinball repair channels in recent times because it's just amazing to see the devices that they had to come up with to do that stuff.
Oh yeah,
analog devices and rollers.
Mine are not. Mine are not the mechanical ones. It's like the solid state era.
Okay.
So I have
that's cool.
one.
That's cool.
So I have one from 79. I got one from 81, and I got one from 89. So
yeah, 89 would have used a 68,000 probably.
I think a 68. No, there's still. It still has. It still has six. Hang on. I can. You know what's great about the do you know what's great about the pinballs? They have full fucking schematics.
Oh, yes,
and
they do.
bombs. Schematics and bombs. Like, it's amazing. Like, I can actually go through, like, here, and you can just find them anywhere. Hang on, window, and I promise I will end the stream after this, but this is really interesting because I like nerding out about this stuff. So this is the manual that came with the machine.
Wow.
And you have, like, so if I go down here, like, here's all the ROMs and stuff here, the part numbers.
Man. That's
great. What chip number they are. Different connectors, but like, hang on, let me go down. So this is like all the settings and stuff here, and adjustments and stuff. But like, if we get down here, here's maintenance info. Here, power supply. Look at this. So here's all the power supply parts and all the values for all the parts. It's great. So these are all the parts designations. And then here's the audio board.
Oh my god.
Here's the CPU board. Look at all these. Hang on. So they can probably see. So if you look at the ICs here.
I'm sure there's a YM something there somewhere.
Those
are all
here. YM 2151. You were right.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, they're still used.
This is the power supply. Where's the main control? So this is the CPU board. So this would have 6820s. They're 6820s or 6821s.
Okay. Yeah.
So like literally full part list. Look at this. Isn't this great? Look at all the diodes, the resistors, the tolerances, the ohms, the wattages. Like,
oh yeah,
it's fantastic.
Something you'll never see these days.
So what I'm doing, what I'm going to be doing on mine is actually, is this the main board? Yeah, this is the main board. So I'm going to be switching out. Here's the battery. I think it's U25.
Is the main board colored? Is it kind of a tan color?
No, it's like green.
Oh, it's green.
But U25
looks like one of those old through hole boards.
Where's U? It is through hole. It's all through hole, which is so much easier to work on. U25. So the static RAM, the CMOS static RAM here, U25. Yeah. This I'm replacing with NV RAM, so I can get rid of the batteries. If you look here, this is literally a 3 AA battery holder to keep the high scores and stuff in the RAM.
God, yeah.
So
I better definitely shit.
So the problem is
just to keep that one.
Yeah. So the batteries are at the very top of this. This is actually mounted in the top of the cabinet, the head. And so when the batteries leak, they go all down all these chips and the traces. So my other two have already been. Scott jumped off.
First you, now Scott.
Oh. He should come back. There we go.
Where is my Comcast? I have Spectrum and they go out 4 days at a time.
Yeah, so basically all my pins, they have all NVRAM. I've done the swap on Flash. I have a Williams Flash, and then I have a Gottlieb Black Hole. Do you remember Black Hole pinball with the two levels? I have one of those. I picked one of those up. That was my first one. And then I was like, I'll only have one pinball. And then I was like, my buddy's like, hey, I got a Williams Flash that needs some work, but I'll sell it to you cheap. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. And now I have 3 of them. So
now you're locked in.
Yeah, but isn't this cool? Like they have everything, and even like here, all the wire colors too.
Of course,
like,
you got to get the colors right.
Like it's freaking awesome. Like this is like, and these are just like this is just like the bomb and stuff. But hang on, if I go down, not only do we have the bomb, but if I go down even further, oh, and they also have like all the switch, all like the lamp matrices and stuff, and the switch matrices. Here, see the switch matrix table here?
Oh my god. Yep.
There.
You gotta have a matrix.
these are a pain in the ass to troubleshoot.
Oh my god.
But
it must be like they're probably making apps for this. Like, you point your camera at this chart, and we'll tell you which one's probably broken based on
reference diagrams and schematics. Look at this.
Nice. Wow.
Isn't this great? This is the cabinet wiring. Here's 3-drop target board with the schematic. Like, look at this power supply board. There's a schematic for the power supply board. Like, isn't this fantastic? Like, what products these days? Look at this is a freaking hand-drawn schematic.
I love it. I love that style of handwriting too. Is like
it's from 1987. Like
some of that is stenciled lettering actually, but
is it?
That's insane. Yeah, you like just put the thing down and put your pencil, your technical pencil.
Gotcha. But yeah, like what products these days come with this?
Yeah,
like it's great. Really. Like they wanted you to fix. They wanted these, and the boards in all mine. They all have repairs. Like there's FETs that have been swapped. There's resistors. There's traces that have had bodge wires put on because the trace burned up or got corroded. Like, I mean, this machine is my newest one. This is 35 years old. It's as old as I am. My oldest one is 45 years old. Yeah, so, like, but I have
like all kinds of schematics now, but usually they're behind some kind of wall.
Yeah. Well, I think but it's
authorized repair service or something just to get
exactly. Just like,
but
again, me and Rossman are like, no. Give us, make things easier to repair. I don't care if they're thicker. I don't care.
But yeah, the newest one I picked up was this guy, and then I'm gonna wrap this up. But it's so cool. Like I just love how it plays, and it's fast as shit too.
That's cool.
Here, so this was the latest one I picked up. I literally drove like an hour and a half each way to get this.
Volume.
Wow, that's a pretty one.
I am the Black Knight.
Damn.
But it's got 3-ball multi-ball and everything. I really had to fix a few things on it.
What is it doing? Playing a sample when it does that? Or is it using? It can't be using a voice synthesizer.
It has recordings. So the cool thing is, the guy who designed this pinball also designed Flash, which I also have, and he did the voice for the knight in this game. But it's got the MagnaSave over here, where if this is lit up, you can actually grab it. There's a big coil under the play field that when you hit it, it energizes it and grabs the ball to save it from going down the drain on the far right here.
Wow, so they have a degausser in there to like demagnetize the balls as well?
No, they do not.
Well, that would help. Somewhere near the plunger, a little degausser would be great.
Well, but I mean, you replace the balls fairly often.
Yeah, I imagine they kind of get degaussed just from flying around the playfield, honestly.
Yeah, but like, I don't know if he has it hitting. Yeah, so see how you see how I grabbed the ball there? Here, here, check it out.
Idea. Yeah, that's such a neat idea.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and it does this like oscillation when it gets there. That's clever.
But yeah, no, I saw a video of this one. I don't know. So you see these letters here, ransom, the King's Ransom. So these light up as you play games, and they stay lit up between games. And when you get the King's Ransom, so you let the last letter, the machine goes absolutely apeshit. And it's like you can do 3-ball multi-ball on here too. So
that is so cool. Does it never expire, or does it expire after a certain number of games?
It expires after the machine. It goes back after the machine's power cycled.
Oh, okay. Wow. So a whole day at least.
Yeah. So I think
that's too
arcades back in the day. So loud.
Yeah. Here. So like here's.
Oh yeah.
Hang on.
Mostly the sound of Galaga.
So here. He's got to shoot it. He's got to get it up here to hit ransom and lock the ball. So he's got to get to the upper play field, which he should be doing in a second here. And then you got to send it up the ramp to lock it. So that's the ransom light. So there you go.
Oh wow. Oh.
It's even got the message on the screen when it's not playing. It says "Winners don't use drugs." It has that campaign installed on it. We're just going nuts. Got all the flasher bulbs and stuff in there.
Your audio's cut down a bit.
Hey, losers use drugs because it's a consolation prize.
But yeah, do you see the machine going crazy? Like,
yes, I got all those balls flying out.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. I just love the design on that. It's so many bloody lights.
Yeah,
You have to be a madman to design these things.
The soundtrack on it is what got me. It's like, oh my god, it's awesome. So,
it is too cool.
Yeah. So next time you come up here, the basement looks a lot different from last time you stayed here, back in 2019.
It was just a dark, dingy hole when I was there last time.
A dark, dingy hole. Now it's like there's actually, I got 4 Windows XP computers down there. They're all networked together so we can play games together, and then we got the pinballs and
we did go over the
god,
about a half hour ago.
So apparently I have to come feed. I'm being told to come feed my crotch fruit. So I have evidence. I have evidence that I've been laid at least once. Okay.
It's so nice of you to breastfeed your child.
Oh my god.
Fathers don't do that.
Well, if I have her laying on me and I don't have my shirt on, she pulls my chest hairs out, and like her little hands get in there and grab like 3 hairs, and she goes, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
like,
thank you.
It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad.
That's the feeling of love. Get used to it.
No. Like, I'm like, man, they're tiny. She has tiny little hands, but they're so strong. Like, but anyways, it was fun having you on, Scott. It was nice seeing you.
Thanks. Always good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Well, if we have we'll maybe do a session this weekend. I'm going to be just working on my Trinamics.
Yeah, because I want to get I want to start my Mercury One, since I don't need this for print jobs. I want to get my my Mercury One going. So I got all the parts. I got all the stuff printed, and yeah. So and for everybody else, yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. So
have a good one, everyone.
All right, everybody. Have a good weekend as always. Happy printing. Bye, Scott. It was nice seeing you. Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Bye.